Should we just go for it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, might as well, huh, Will?
Midas Whale.
We took a whole week off, and guess what? Still nothing to talk about for the That's Good Broncos podcast. Although some people make a great living on talking about this type of stuff every day.
We don't know how to do it.
Not Will and I. Welcome back, guys, gals, aliens. Talking about illegals, not intergalactic.
It's
And
very
by illegals, I specifically mean Canadians.
Yes. It is time we put a wall on the Canadian border.
Yep. Build that
10 feet high.
Canadian wall.
Just got 10 meters higher.
Yeah, keep the snow out of here. Especially California. You don't want any more snow.
That famous Canada-California border.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have too much snow.
I like if we call Canadians illegal aliens. Nobody will care.
You can call them whatever you want. Snow people. Snow and then insert your slur of choice.
Yeah.
It's fine if you're talking about Canadians.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to move there one day. But today we're talking about Broncos stuff, some news. Wait, when was the last time we did an episode?
God, what year is it? 2023?
Did we miss 2 weeks or 1 week?
I think we only missed one.
Well, we haven't talked about the Broncos getting Samaje Perine, have we?
Yeah, we have.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hard to know anymore.
There's no way to know. Please do not correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah. They signed the kick returner, punt returner.
Yep, from the Texans.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's like we didn't talk about that because that's kind of interesting. I think that is to some extent Sean Payton putting his stamp on special teams and saying, I don't really care if we spent 5th round pick or whatever it was on Montreal, Washington. You sucked last year, dude. You sucked. And we're going to get better regardless of the investment of a pick.
Yeah. Dre'mont Smith, 2-year, $5 million.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sean Payton's confidence, Will. I'm
with you.
Better or worse, it feels like he has a vision for this team. I think we talked about that a little bit because it hasn't felt that way. And as that photo that emerged from the coaches meeting,
yes.
Now we know why. He's got confidence. He is swole in all the right places.
Yep.
And I trust that. I just want my coach to be cocky. And he is. Multiple levels of cockiness, and it feels good.
He's got big something energy. I don't know exactly what, but there's a lot of it.
Look, when Sean Payton inserts himself into Broncos country, it might hurt at first, okay? But ultimately, it's going to lead to gratification.
Almost certainly. It will hurt, and it will lead to great pleasure for us fans. Mutual pleasure.
Yeah, that's why people are here.
This is what makes us better than the competition.
This is what makes us better than First Take.
I don't think First Take is very good. Well, actually, I do think they're very good. They're very good at what they do. I just don't think what they do is very good.
Yeah. Oh,
that makes sense.
I thought about your video idea about the fall of Good Morning Football.
Yeah.
My thought is a little more broad. Just the fall of sports television.
Sports talk.
Sports TV, sports talk. We got to find the right title, but
could be 20 minutes, could be an hour.
It could be an hour.
Maybe we should do an hour.
I mean, maybe we could try. Like, you could fill a lot of clips there. I just listened to the Ricky Henderson pod that the Dollop did.
Uh-huh.
It's a two-parter. Now, first thing, Ricky Henderson is now my favorite baseball player all time, and it's not even close. Second, then I saw Stark Raving Sports did an hour-plus long Ricky Henderson video.
Yep.
I think they dropped it like a year ago, maybe over 1 million views. So maybe you're onto something.
Those hour-long videos, like you think, no, oh, who's going to click on that? No one's got an hour. People actually like respond to that really well.
We should, I mean, if we do, our first hour-long video, though, should be probably a Broncos-related one, but...
Nah. I mean, yeah.
The fall of sports TV.
The fall of sports
we could
television.
do it.
The rise and fall of sports television.
Ooh, now we're getting there.
That's another hour right there. Well, you think about it, like, okay, so we just had this Anthony Richardson video come out. That was on my part, the script, like, you know, I got really into it, but it didn't like take a super long time. Mostly just kind of hold myself away and just powered through it. But you think about it, it's like, okay, that was a few hours. That's 20 minutes. If I just do that 3 times, that's an hour.
Yeah. And actually, it's like do it 2.5 times and just know we're going to fill a lot of things with clips and sound bites. But
yeah, I mean, there's a ton of clips to pull. There's a lot of sports television out there.
Yeah. As long as we use short segments, we won't get dinged for it.
I like this idea. This could be a great little off-season project for us.
Yeah, it's one we don't have to rush. We could chip away at, find the right clips, and make it smash. Do the kids still say smash, Will?
I'm not a kid.
Or do they say fuck real hard?
They say bussin', for real, and no cap.
When you're not wearing your ballpark cap.
When you've taken the lid off of a beverage, they say no cap. Because you're living life on the edge. You're living dangerously. You're not afraid to spill.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's your favorite? Okay, who's your favorite? Like, I know it might still be Good Morning Football, but who's your favorite sports TV program?
I don't think Good Morning Football was ever my favorite. It was just the most convenient. And I really liked it for a while. And I still, like, it's okay. I put it on because the Dan Patrick Show has changed venues like so many times.
Right.
I would say the Dan Patrick Show is probably one of my favorites because I think he's a really good interviewer. I liked the dynamic with all 4 dudes before, McLevin left. I don't know. There's just something about it. And they talked about other sports in a way that I found interesting, but it's not football specific. And that's what Good Morning Football always had for me over it, was that it's just football. There was a while there I really liked SVP and Russillo when it was it SVP and Russillo? Is that what they called the show?
I think so. Yeah.
I watched that a lot when I first moved back to Colorado.
They're both separately very good. And I think I didn't watch a ton of them together, but when they're on
ESPN together.
They're both great and like just unique and very measured in their takes and not like giant take whores or attention whores or like you could say a lot about a lot of other people.
Yeah. I don't listen to like their full podcast, but I really enjoy the Kelsey's clips. Anytime like I see one of their clips posted, I watch it. That's the thing. It's like shit's so segmented now. It's kind of I don't know. If I'm being like completely honest, I watch just enough so I know what I want to talk about or to help me make a video better. But when I'm done, I kind of detach And the thing that I have tried to watch a lot are of like sports related documentaries and or podcasts. Highly recommend any of the baseball episodes the Dollop does. I've watched a ton of climbing documentaries, surfing documentaries. All of that shit to me is fascinating.
It is.
So more than like a talking show, I like pieces about subjects that kind of go all in.
I'd be so sick to just like instead of making a video where we just like have to find the clips and just kind of latch onto a subject and make a real documentary.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes. That'd be nice.
Nice.
It'd be hard though. There's a reason what we do is much easier.
Yeah. I've talked to a certain former football player about like an idea that I think is really good that he's interested in. I don't know if it'll happen.
Okay.
But I'm going to say my favorite show will be the future version of that show if it ever happens.
Has this person been on our program?
Maybe he has.
Maybe. Sounds like a yes.
Maybe. I don't know if it'll happen. But it's a solid idea. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay, tell me.
I don't want to get anybody too excited for shit that I won't live up to.
Yeah.
I disappoint enough people in my life that I'm not here, baby. Anyway, we went on a tangent. That's all right.
That's what happens when the Denver Broncos just don't make any moves. They've forced us into this corner.
They did all their moves all at once. That's the thing.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. It's about the Broncos free agency.
Day 1 and 2. See you fucks later. We're out.
I respect it. Well, we did sign Marquez Callaway.
Yeah.
The guy that I know you liked a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, he was pretty good.
Well, he was good a couple years ago. I think he might have been hurt / didn't have Sean Payton in 2022. I think that just the fact that he was available kind of surprised me.
Yeah, no, I think that's a nice addition.
Well, the wide receiver market's really depressed right now.
What's that?
The wide receiver market's really depressed right now. So
yeah,
it's good. So under the radar signing.
2021, he had 46 receptions, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, this was with Jameis Winston and like Trevor Siemian and Ian Book.
Yeah,
this is not Drew Brees.
No,
and Taysom Hill too. So not exactly the 2013 Broncos offense that he's putting up good numbers in.
Yeah. So I believe he was injured last year, right?
Yes.
But so I was on Broncos Avenue's podcast. Check them out. It was a lot of fun. But we were talking about receivers and like the Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton thing, if anybody's going to get traded or whatever. And like looking at the Broncos receiving depth, let's assume Tim Patrick will be healthy. And they keep Sutton and they keep Jeudy. And then you have Callaway there. You have Hamler, who, there's also injury issues. Your little Jordan Humphrey in the mix. Montrell Washington. There's nice depth there. And assuming, I think the issue so much last year is just no offensive identity. Having an offensive identity now immediately and knowing like it's not going to change. Sean Payton's not going to switch to different OCs, play callers throughout the season. You got KJ and you got Montrell. I feel like one of those guys is going to emerge as.
Well, who had more yards than Montrell Washington and Kendall
Hinton?
Yeah, Kendall Hinton.
Kendall Hinton?
I blew it there. KJ Hamler combined last year was Kendall Hinton.
So it's
I don't know about combined, but more than each of them.
I think there's a lot of depth there. Obviously, there was depth there last year, but we had the Tim Patrick injury and then everything go wrong. So just my point was like kind of looking at that today, like I feel good about everything on offense really outside of running back until Javonte's healthy. And I like the Samaje Perine signing. I like him getting a bunch of carries until Javonte's ready to go. But if I'm thinking about like the draft and those 2 third-round picks, to me, it's like I hope it's running back and it's edge rusher. If one of those deep rushers, it kind of falls to them there, because those are the 2 biggest positions that kind of concern me. But I don't know. I'm talking myself into being excited again, slowly.
I don't think you have to talk yourself into it. I think it's a natural inclination to be excited about this team. And we've talked about it, ad nauseum, but last year was a nightmare scenario where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And if half the things break right this year, you're looking at hopefully a winning record and perhaps more.
Yeah. And to go back to your point, Sean Payton was like, your special teams fucking sucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another piece of evidence there, Riley Dixon back as well.
Man, oh man. It's almost like we just should have kept him the first time.
Dude, that's a problem when you keep cycling through coaches though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so it was Kubiak who drafted him.
Yeah. I
mean, Elway drafted him, but Kubiak was the coach. And then it's like 4 coaches later, he's back. It's like he was a rookie his first year, and he wasn't bad. He was just a rookie. He had I remember this game against the Chargers back in 2016 that we won, where he totally flipped the field, this massive punt from his own end zone, and basically won us the game in the final minutes. And I guess we got rid of him a year later because Marquette King was available. And then they totally screwed that up with Marquette King, I guess.
They're like, change the way you punt.
Yeah, I believe that was part of it, but also like he hasn't really. It's like he'd be on another NFL team too.
Yeah, I would say he is a eclectic personality.
I would have to agree with you there.
I don't mean that to be in a bad way. I'm just saying like he's a different cat, and NFL sometimes has a problem with that, especially if you're a position like a punter.
Yeah, he also just like
a cuttable position,
right,
and you got personality. You better be the best at it on earth.
Yeah, you better be Pat McAfee, and then sometimes that personality goes too far.
Yeah,
but you make millions and hundreds of millions from it. But some people still don't like you.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get blocked.
Sometimes you get blocked. The hell was I going to say? Either way, okay. So we've cycled through so many bad punters. Sam Martin wasn't bad.
Sam Martin wasn't bad. Corliss Waitman. Waitman was worse than Sam Martin.
Yes.
Colby Watt. We had Wad Mania in there as well. Marquette King.
Not very good.
All those guys since Dixon, right? And also the other thing the Broncos could have done is just paid Colquitt a little more money, and they would have had a good punter for a couple more years. They didn't have to draft Riley Dixon.
No.
Then they did, and they drafted probably the right guy to replace him, but then they were just too impatient and moved on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
you have to wonder too, like they're scrutinizing special teams. They just replaced the punter. They replaced the kick returner. It's like, okay, do you think McManus has some competition going into training, like some real competition?
I mean, maybe.
You have to, right?
I don't know what Sean Payton thinks. I think like he's bringing in such a different perspective that normally I would say no. But I don't know. I don't know. I think McManus is going to have to impress them. Maybe not a move that it's this year, but I think this season he's got to perform.
It wasn't good last year. I mean, I'm not like breaking news here, but I think he's been really good his whole career, but it wasn't good last year.
Let's see here. What was he? I'm not going to agree with that until I look at the stats. I will not. 28 of 36. So 77.8%, which might be...
Yep.
That is his worst percentage since 2017.
Yep.
So he's been like an 85%, over 80 every year except for that first year in Denver, 2017, and last year. Let's see here. He attempted 13 field goals over 50 yards, though. So that's the second most, and he made 8.
It's also 4 of 6 from 30 to 39 yards.
That's
not good.
That's not good because that's the range PATs are also in.
6 of 7 from 20 to 29 yards. And I think, to be fair, I think that might include a couple bobbled snaps.
Yeah, because maybe one was blocked in there as well.
Yeah.
I bet it'll be back in the 80s this year. I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Here's a guy, though, from the XFL, Will.
Okay.
Abram Smith.
Yeah. The Defenders running back.
Defenders running back who had the 200-yard game. He had some nice runs in this last game. But when I was watching the game, he played linebacker before, I believe in college.
For Baylor, yeah.
Okay. So this is a guy who played linebacker, converts to running back, could fill a need at running back, but also I think that makes him a great special teams candidate, right? You play linebacker, you know how to tackle, so you fill a couple roles, and that's like not a guy you might be looking at in the draft, but
hey, you know where he played in the NFL briefly?
Where?
The New Orleans Saints.
Oh! Didn't even look that up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That would be nice. Like, I think that's where really smart organizations grab pieces.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're totally right. Like, that's what I love about. So we're gonna have the XFL and then soon the USFL. I think in a couple weeks here we'll have the USFL. And that's just like, it's so nice to see, because either you're in the NFL or you're not playing football in the United States, generally speaking. Whereas now there's this lower level of competition where you can hone your skills, you can iron things out, you can just get more reps, and you just get a chance. And some guys are taking advantage of it. It's more interesting too than like the hangers on in the XFL and the USFL, like the Paxton Lynches and the the guys who are had success in the NFL already. Not that Paxton Lynch did, but like Josh Gordon. It's way more interesting to see guys who just didn't get a chance for whatever reason blow up and then make it to the NFL. Carson Strong for one, but I think you're totally right. Like it's the whole. They should, maybe not as like intensely as the draft, but there should be a lot of scouting done in these two leagues now.
Yeah, well, there's two things. One is this will be the first offseason where you have the XFL and the USFL going, right? So you're basically getting tape from double the amount of players this offseason.
Yeah.
That can be had.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And without a first and second round pick at the moment, you really need to find a gem or two in the draft. You need to find someone as an undrafted college free agent. And you maybe need to find a player or two from the spring leagues to kind of make up for the fact that you don't have one of those two premier picks. And I'm not saying like any of those guys are going to be, your next Rod Smith or Chris Harris, which is like the Broncos had a really nice track record of adding an undrafted guy.
CJ Anderson, Phillip Lindsay.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be one of those guys, but there can be role players, special teams contributors, and things that just make your team deeper.
Who's that guy from the Roughnecks, Kirkland? I know that NFL teams are like really big on him.
Yeah, the guy I made like 40 Costco jokes about.
Yeah.
I want to say Javonte Kirkland.
Yeah, something like that.
Javonte. Let's see here.
Yeah, these guys are like, I think teams are definitely taking it seriously.
John Trey Kirkland. Yeah. Ja'Cour Pearson for the Dragons could be a nice slot receiver in the league. Did you hear that Sean Payton talking about how the receivers we have, like nobody is going to be in a set role?
I did not hear that.
He was basically saying like, we're not going to have a guy who is our X receiver, our Y or Z receiver. He's like, the way we're going to run our offense, that's not how it's going to be. I'm going to design it where if you've watched how I do it, we do it different than that. And I don't know. The way he said it, I didn't know exactly what he meant, but it made me feel confident is my point.
He does. He did.
It's like, I know what these guys do well, and I'm going to put them in a fucking situation to succeed there.
Every time he talks, he inspires confidence.
Yeah.
He just knows what he's doing. Is he the best coach in the NFL? Probably not. Is he top 5? Yeah, maybe.
I would say offensively for sure.
Yeah. He's just like, I don't know. He's I think he's got this like competence about him that kind of trickles down through the rest of the organization. Yeah.
And you have something about Sean McVay in the rundown. Also, they were talking to Dan Campbell about Sean Payton, like what he learned from him. And he's like, what didn't I learn from him? I learned everything about coaching from him.
It's so funny, like the image of massive Dan Campbell, like intently listening to Sean Payton, like 5'11", half his size. Dan Campbell following him around with a little notebook, listening to every word he says.
What'd you say, Sean? Okay, man. But the other part of that is, I think it says something about Sean Payton identifying guys who can coach and investing the time in developing them.
I mean, it sounds like he was big on Zach Strief too. He said, like, no matter where I land, I'm bringing this guy with me.
I like that.
He's got a nose for future coaches, I think.
Yeah. And that was part of how he recruited Samaje Perine too, was like, he basically told them, have you seen how I've used multiple backs? You're going to get carries here. We're going to get you into the game.
Yep.
And I think that is harmonious with your offensive line coach, and knowing, like, being on the same page with how they're going to block for your backs and your running backs' strengths.
Yeah, Samaje Perine had a game against Kansas when he was at Oklahoma. He had 427 rushing yards.
No, I did not know that. I know good. He did some insane work with the bench press as well. Like, he's like super strong.
Yeah, he's a strong guy. He's got a beard on him too.
Yeah. So to me, he's kind of like, I think of how they used Mark Ingram, right? I don't know if he has necessarily the speed Mark Ingram had, but I feel like that's going to be his role in the offense.
Yeah, he's a receiver too. He's got unfortunately, like, the one thing I think about when I see Perine now is like that great play in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, but also the fourth down throw to him in the Super Bowl, where it's like just out of reach.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe you should have dove for that. I don't know,
man.
I don't know. Who am I to tell a football player when he should or shouldn't dive?
We're not there.
Not
Sometimes
there.
it looks like you should, but the ball's just too far. You never know.
Sometimes you can't tell when someone's got their weight shifted the other way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure.
If he just said like, I can't jump that far, guys. I'm like, fair enough.
I can't jump that far.
It would have looked worse if I jumped. It would have looked like Garrett Bowles chasing down the tackler. That's the other thing. Okay, so we don't have the couple picks up front.
Yep.
If this team is half as healthy, 50% more healthy than they were last year.
Yeah, they don't even have to be like perfectly healthy.
No, because they're not. Guys are going to get hurt. But if they're 50% healthier, it's a different football team.
Yeah.
What did Sean McVay say about Sean Payton?
Sean
McVay love
said, I'm looking forward to flipping on that Broncos offense every week and seeing what we can steal from them. This is in sharp contrast to last year when teams would flip on our offense and use it as a training manual for what not to do.
Hey guys, this is not how we're gonna play this week. So book it.
It's like when you show like young drivers like clips of like horrific accidents to scare them straight.
Yeah.
So they just show up and coming offensive coordinators have to watch the 2022 Broncos. But now that's flipped on its head a little bit. Sean Payton's had a year to scheme and to devise the perfect offense.
Yeah.
I assume that's what he was doing. And not just, and he spent probably 10% of his time on his Fox job.
What? Yeah. He was just grinding tape for us.
Yeah. He knew.
What was I going to say? Oh, fuck me. Oh, best thing that could happen for the NFL, AFC championship game between the Denver Broncos and the Aaron Rodgers-led New York Jets. Nathaniel Hackett versus Denver in the biggest game of the season.
I think we are. They come to Denver this year, right?
Yeah, I think they play.
Some people were saying like, "Oh, that'd be a great season opener if they get Aaron Rodgers."
I wouldn't disagree.
I don't know.
Probably have a better chance to beat him week 1 than later in the season.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. When's that ever going to end?
It's so stupid.
It's so damn annoying.
Yeah.
Figure it out, guys.
I don't know who to be mad at either. That's the other problem.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers, probably. It's got to be Aaron Rodgers.
Fair enough.
He's been the one.
Consistent thread.
The one constant, I guess, in the last 3 years of annoying Aaron Rodgers drama. The common denominator seems to be Aaron Rodgers.
Is it?
I would have to think so.
Yeah, I think it's.
Go ahead.
My take is Aaron Rodgers, like, they're not communicating with me. And then the Packers front office, like, he won't answer our phone calls.
Yeah. Adam Schefter tries to get a hold of him. Lose my number. Imagine, like, no wonder this guy's like 39 and still dating. I mean, he has to be God, he's got all the money in the world. He's a handsome guy. He's a Super Bowl champion. And still, God, he's got to be just impossible to be around.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like if he likes you, he's one of those people, I think if he likes you, it's awesome. But if he feels slighted by you, he's the worst.
He'll never forget it. He's still mad at the Packers for cutting Jordy Nelson like 10 years ago. He's still mad. It wasn't 10 years ago, but you get the point.
And Jake Kumaro.
Yeah, he's had like 3 catches since.
Yeah. Last thing, we can get out of here.
Yeah.
What did Kyle Shanahan dish about Mikey McGlinch?
Mike McGlinchey, he said this. He said that Mike McGlinchey basically played so well that he priced himself out of San Francisco. Which is the other way around because, San Francisco, people usually get priced out of there by the city. That's how rich he was. That's how rich he became. So he said, I think it was Brandon Cristal who was talking to him. He said, Mike was just too good. We hated losing Mike.
Bam.
Mike McGlinchey, the right tackle. And he also said, I watched the full clip and he was talking about okay, well, we can't have too much money tied up in two tackles because it takes away from money we should be spending on people who touch the football. And yeah, I mean, Trent Williams is a top 3 highest paid tackle in the NFL, I assume still. You can't, it's just hard to, as good as your right tackle is, you can't just tie up that much money in, the two. They're very important positions, but you have to spread the wealth.
It's just every team,
just a reality.
No matter how good they are, they have to underspend at certain areas to keep the other areas that are strengths on their team strengths. So
they're lucky they don't have a quarterback to pay.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy doesn't even count against their salary cap right now. That's how little he makes.
They actually get more money because of Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
What do you make of them insinuating they're splitting reps between Darnold and Trey Lance? There's a good chance Darnold starts over Trey.
I think it tells me that Trey Lance isn't very good. I don't know. He's either not very good or Shanahan's probably still bitter that he had to use a top 3 pick on him.
Yeah.
That's my reading.
There's a disconnect there for sure.
Yeah.
It feels it feels like it's probably just not the right fit, the right marriage.
No, I'd like to see Trey Lance start over somewhere because he's clearly very athletic.
Yeah.
I feel like this not gonna happen, but Brian Dable, I feel like could figure something out with Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Put him somewhere. I don't know. I don't want to see a top 3 pick never get a chance, waste away. So I don't know. Just trade him. 49ers I don't think have any day 1 picks or day 2 or second round picks either.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 teams that don't have a first round pick.
Yeah, it's last year. The NFL draft is getting so condensed. I think between the haves and the have-nots. The competitive teams have all maybe not even competitive teams. The Broncos didn't have any picks last year or this year, but these teams that are all in and value draft picks or don't value draft picks. So now you got teams with multiple teams with 2, 3 first round picks and others that don't even pick until, round 3.
Yeah. It's a lot of teams bought into the trade away your draft picks philosophy.
Yeah.
Trade them away and then also stockpile. So now you got it used to be one or 2 teams not picking maybe in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Last couple of years been 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, that's enough for today. We'll probably be back next week to talk more shop of Broncos. But maybe we'll do a mock draft or some shit.
That'd be fun.
Broncos mock draft.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
And John Elway played his entire career without an ACL.
Yeah, good luck.